Observe the picture given on the screen and answer the questions. First question. Where do we see the birds? In the sky or air. Question number 2. Where is the cow grazing? On the ground or land. Question number 3. Locate the trees and the road. Of course, they are also on the ground or on land. Where does the river come from? How does it flow? The river originates in the mountains and flow downhill to meet the sea. Question 5. Where is the aeroplane? In the air or sky. Question number 6. Where are the fish seen? In the water. Question number 7. On what is the sailboat floating? Of course, on the water. Here you can see that some things in the picture are in water, some are on land, and some in the sky, that is, in the air. Thus, all things on the earth are associated with air, water, and land. Air, water, and land are called the Earth's atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere respectively. Moreover, different living things occupy these three spheres of the Earth. These living things and the parts of lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere which they occupy are together called the biosphere. These spheres have formed on the earth naturally. We have learnt all this in the previous standards. The atmosphere is the layer of air that surrounds the earth. The surface of the earth comprises water and land. That is the hydrosphere and lithosphere. Of these, the hydrosphere occupies a much larger part than the lithosphere. This figure shows the proportion of land and water on the Earth's surface. Air, water, and land are the factors important for sustaining the living world on the Earth and for fulfilling their basic needs. They are called natural resources. We also look upon these natural components in solid, liquid, and gaseous form as resources. In other words, we use them to fulfill our requirements. Let us now study all these three components in detail through the first chapter, Natural Resources, Air, Water, and Land. Let's start our chapter with first natural resource, that is air. Can you recall what are the 5 layers of the atmosphere? They are troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere. The air in the atmosphere around the earth contains nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, 6 inert gases, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor, and dust particles. The troposphere contains about 80% of the total mass of gases in the air, while this proportion is about 19% in the stratosphere. Further, in the mesosphere and ionosphere, the proportion of the mass of gases goes on decreasing. Gases are not found in the exosphere and beyond. You can see that air is a mixture of several gases and it is chief constituent of Earth's atmosphere. Besides these gases, air also contains water vapor and dust particles. The amount of the gases in the air is the greatest near the surface and decreases as we go higher and higher from the surface. That is, air becomes rarer at the higher altitudes. Let us see the proportion of the constituents of air and some of their uses. First gas is nitrogen. It helps living things to build the necessary proteins. It is useful in the production of ammonia and in airtight packaging of the foodstuffs. Next gas is oxygen. It is necessary for respiration in living things, and for the combustion means for anything to burn needs oxygen. Next gas is carbon dioxide. Plants use it for producing their food and it is used in fire extinguishers. Next gas is argon. It is used in electric bulbs. Next gas is helium. It is used for obtaining low temperature and also for generating lift in airships. Next is neon. It is used in decorative lights and for street lighting. Next is krypton. It is used in fluorescent tubes. Xenon. It is used in flash photography. Always remember, the living world on the earth is sustained due to balance between various gases and other constituents of air. The atmosphere is very important filter. It allows the light and heat of the sun to reach the earth, which is necessary for life, but it prevents the harmful elements from reaching the earth. It is in the atmosphere that fog, clouds, snow and rain are produced. Observe and discuss. Of course, all the given pictures show large-scale emission of smoke through different agencies. This smoke directly mixes with the atmosphere, disturbing the balance between constituents of air. This is called air pollution. Harmful gases are given out through combustion of fuels in vehicles and big industries, and also through the incomplete combustion of fuels like wood and coal. As a result, air pollution is increasing day by day. Let us see what are the harmful substances released in the air through combustion of fuels. They are nitrogen dioxide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and soot. Let us take information about the ozone layer, the protective shell of the earth. There is a layer of ozone, that is O3 gas, in the lower part of the stratosphere. Ozone gas is not directly useful for the survival of living things, yet it is very important for living things to have this layer of ozone layer at a high altitude around the earth. The ultraviolet rays coming from the sun are very harmful for living things. The ozone gas absorbs these rays. As a result, life on the earth is protected. But this ozone layer is destroyed if chemical gases like carbon tetrachloride or the chlorofluorocarbons used in air conditioners and refrigerators mix with the air. The 16th of September is celebrated as Ozone Protection Day all over the world to make everyone aware about the importance of ozone. Do you know, in metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Pune or Nagpur, boards are displayed at places of heavy traffic to show the proportions of the various constituents of the air at that place. Due to these boards, we can see the amount of harmful elements in the air. Now let us move towards the second natural resource, that is water. Try this. Observe how much water is used and for what purposes it is used in your house. For a whole day, record it in a chart like the one which is shown here. Discuss this data in the class. Divide the total amount of water used in your house by the number of persons to find out how much water each person needs. After performing this activity, you will see that it is almost impossible for us to spend even a single day without water. We need to drink 3 to 4 liters of water every day so that all our bodily functions run smoothly. Other living things also require water, although the amount of water they need may vary according to the size of their body. Here the elephant needs more water than the cat. Thus, we see that water is very important. The hydrogen gas burns in the air. It combines with oxygen and water is formed. We have learned about some characteristics of water in the previous standard. In the nature, water occurs in 3 states. Water does not have color, taste, or odor. Many substances readily dissolve in water. Therefore, water is a universal solvent. The blood of animals and the sap in plants contain a very high proportion of water. No living thing can survive without water. Therefore, it is said that water is life. Let us see the water available on the earth in percentage. Seas and oceans contain 97%. Groundwater, ice, and water in other forms is 2.7%. Water available for drinking, that is fresh water, is about 0.3%. We cannot use all the water on the earth because sea water is salty, some water is in frozen state, a very small quantity of water is available for drinking. Yet, it is enough for all living things. Find out in what ways the water in seas and oceans useful even though it is salty. Water from oceans can be used for making hydroelectricity, a form of renewable source of energy. It can be used as a cheap transport method. They can be used for activities like scuba diving, water sports, etc., which is means of boosting the tourism and economic growth of a country. Observe and discuss. For which purposes is water being used? Of course, washing clothes, washing vehicles, for drinking in the factories, for agriculture, for producing electricity, etc. Do other living things use water like we do? Of course, yes. We use water in large quantities. We have learnt that water on the earth is regulated through the water cycle. A water vapor formed from the oceans is the main source of water in the water cycle. It gets converted into rain, creating freshwater sources on Earth. We get water from natural sources such as streams, rivers, ponds, springs, and lakes. Man also digs wells and bore wells to lift the groundwater. Apart from this, man has also constructed bunds and dams of the various sizes on rivers. Due to uncontrolled use of water for an increasing population, industry, and farming, it is now in short supply. Water scarcity has become a serious problem. Always remember, use water sparingly. Block water, let it percolate. Store water wherever possible. Reuse water wherever possible. Remember, stored water does not become stale at once. Can you tell what is land made up of? Soil, stones, rocks, etc. Very good. Is land flat everywhere? No, of course. What do you see on land? Plants, animals, seas, mountains, rivers, etc. Right? Does man produce soil or land? Of course not. It is naturally created. Then what has man created on land? So many things like buildings, roads, railway tracks, bridges, etc. If a deep pit is dug in the ground, what do we find there? It's rock. After answering these questions, you may now have understood what are we talking about. The third natural resource, that is land. Land is seen in the form of stones, soil, big rocks. It is not flat everywhere. It is hilly in some places and flat in others. All terrestrial animals, including man, live on land. Some terrestrials dig burrows in the ground for shelter. This means that they use land for fulfilling their need. We also use land for farming and for building houses and roads. We make use of plants and animals in the forest that grow on land. The minerals, crude oil and natural gas obtained from the earth, that is land, are very important for us. It means that land is an important resource. Let us see exactly what land is made of. Let's try this. Take a transparent plastic bottle, a handful of soil, some stones, sand, some dry leaves and water. Cut off the upper tapering part of the bottle. Put the rest of the material in the lower part and add water. Stir the mixture thoroughly and put it aside. Observe it in the next day and answer. How does the mixture in the bottle look now? It doesn't look good like a mixture, right? Do you see layers in it? Of course, you can see some layers. What is seen in different layers from top to bottom? We can see lighter things are on top and heavier stones are at the bottom. The land on earth also looks like this. If a pipeline is being laid in your neighborhood, observe carefully the pits dug for this purpose. You will see some layers under the land surfaces as shown in this figure. If the land has a mature soil, the toppermost layer is formed by the decomposition of remains of plants and animals. This layer is called humus. It is usually found in dense forest as because many plants and animals die in forest. The land below this is full of sand, soil, small stones, worms and insects. Soil and pieces of bedrock are found below this layer of land. This soil is immature. Further below this layer, the proportion of soil decreases and that of rock increases. This is the layer of bedrock. The main minerals in the soil are derived from these rocks. That is why soil in different regions is different. The color and texture of soil are both determined by the bedrock. Let us see the process of soil formation. The soil on the land is formed by natural process. The abiotic components of soil are supplied through the weathering of the bedrock. Due to the heat, cold and water of the sun, wind and rain respectively, the bedrock breaks down into pieces. Stones, sand and soil are formed from these pieces. Microbes, worms and insects are found among them. Rodents like mice and rats are also found there. The roots of trees growing from land also help weathering of rocks. The process of soil formation is slow and continuous. It takes about thousands of years for a 2.5 cm thick layer of mature soil to form. Soil can get destroyed in a short period due to floods, storms and human activities such as mining. That is why it is necessary to conserve soil and to prevent erosion of land. The best remedy for this is to increase the green cover of the land. Erosion of land is reduced if grass, trees and bushes are grown in it. Observe specimens of soil from various places in your surroundings such as your own yard, a garden, hills, river banks, fields and rocky ground. Note the differences in the specimens with respect to color, feel, texture and the size of the particles. Do you know humus is the layer formed on the soil due to the decomposition of dead plants and animals by microbes. Humus supplies nutrients to the soil. Humus is also important for aerating the soil and for holding water in the soil. The proportion of humus in the upper layer of a good fertile soil is about 33% to 50%. Forest on land got buried underground due to the great upheavals that took place on the earth many ages ago. After that, the process of formation of fossil fuels from the remains of living things took place underground. We get fuels like petrol, diesel, kerosene, paraffin and other useful materials like tar and wax from the fossil fuels called crude oil. Use your brain power. What are the constituents of soil? Classify them as a biotic and abiotic constituents. Soil is composed of both biotic, living and once living things like plants and insects, and abiotic materials, non-living factors like minerals, water and air. Soil contains air, water and minerals as well as plants and animal matter, both living and dead. Living things use land, water, and air available on earth, and so does man. However, the proportion of these resources that are actually put to use are very small as compared to the whole earth. Look at the table given on the screen. Land is 29%. Potable water, that is fresh water, is 0.3%, and oxygen is 21%. Even in these small proportions, the resources shown in the table are sufficient for all living things. Only it is very necessary for man to control his greeds. In other words, he must use these resources judiciously, with the awareness that they are meant for all living things and not just for mankind.